You know that feeling? The day winds down, things get quiet, and suddenly, wham! Those worries you managed to ignore all day just feel bigger, heavier.
Oh, absolutely. That nighttime slump. It's really common.
Yeah, definitely not just you listening. So tonight, we're doing a deep dive into exactly that, why you might feel more down, more sad, specifically in the evening or at night.
Exactly. And it's not just, a random thing. We've been looking into some discussions over on the EDP English Dialogue podcast channel on YouTube.
Mike and Emma.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were talking about this exact phenomenon.
They raised some really interesting points, actually, things we thought deserved a closer look.
And that's our mission for this deep dive, right? To really get into the why, the psychological stuff, the biological reasons behind that mood shift after sunset.
And pull out some practical insights, things you can actually use. Because understanding why it happens is, well, it's the first step.
Okay, so where do we start unpacking this? I guess one of the big things is just the day ending. The distractions disappear.
That's a huge one. Think about your typical day work, emails, maybe kids, errands, social stuff. Your brain is constantly engaged.
Right. Juggling tasks, interacting, always busy.
It demands focus. It keeps your mind occupied. But then evening hits.
Things quieten down, the emails stop, the house is maybe stiller.
Exactly. And suddenly there's this space, mental space.
And into that space creeps. Well, not always the good stuff, huh? The spots you pushed aside.
Yeah, that's often what happens. The lack of external noise lets the internal noise get louder.
Think about your own day when those demands drop off. Does your mind sort of shift gears?
Totally. It wanders. And sometimes it wanders right into worry territory, which leads us to overthinking, I guess.
The power of overthinking, especially potent at night, it seems.
Oh, tell me about it. Lying there trying to sleep and your mind's just racing. Does that sound familiar to you listening?
It's classic nighttime rumination, isn't it? Replaying conversations.
Yes. Cringing at something you said at like 2 p.m. Or worrying about tomorrow's meeting, or that thing you forgot to do, or even stuff from years ago.
Right. Past mistakes suddenly feel very present. It's that the mental floodgates open.
It's almost like the daytime task mode keeps those thoughts contained, maybe. And at night, without a specific focus, they just bubble up.
The mental editor goes off duty. Yeah, that makes sense. And another thing Mike and Emma mentioned was loneliness, feeling more alone at night.
Yes, that's a big factor for many. The contrast can be stark, can it? Maybe you were around people all day, then suddenly you're by yourself.
And the quiet can really amplify that feeling of isolation.
And then you add social media into the mix.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Scrolling through everyone else's seemingly perfect evening.
Exactly. Those curated highlight reels. Seeing friends out having fun, couples looking happy. If you're feeling a bit lonely already, that comparison can really sting.
It makes your own quiet night feel inadequate, maybe. Have you ever felt that sleep, that disconnect between your reality and the online one?
It taps right into that social comparison thing. We can't help but measure ourselves against others sometimes. And at night, when maybe we're feeling a bit more vulnerable.
Those comparisons hit harder.
Yeah.
Amplifies the loneliness.
Definitely. Okay, so we've got lack of distractions, overthinking, loneliness. What about the biological side? Mike and Emma talked about brain chemistry, right? Serotonin.
Yeah, serotonin and just general energy levels.
Right, so there's a natural tendency for serotonin production to dip a bit as the day goes on.
And serotonin is the feel-good chemical, basically. Helps regulate mood.
Pretty much, yeah. So lower levels can make us a bit more susceptible to feeling, well, less positive, more emotionally sensitive maybe.
And then you combine that with just being physically tired. Like your energy is naturally lower at the end of the day.
Exactly. So you've got this combo, potentially lower mood regulating chemicals, less physical energy, plus fewer distractions and more quiet time.
It's kind of a perfect storm for feeling a bit low, like your brain's chemistry is just shifting down for the night.
It's a really potent mix of interacting factors. And layered on top of that is the huge impact of sleep itself, or lack thereof.
No, sleep is massive, isn't it?
Yeah.
So fundamental. And if your sleep's messed up, that can really wreck your nighttime mood.
Absolutely. It's a two-way street, too. Poor sleep makes your mood worse.
And then being anxious or sad at night makes it harder to actually fall asleep.
Precisely. That horrible cycle. When you're sleep deprived, your brain's emotional regulation centers places like the amygdala and prefrontal cortex, they don't work as well.
So you can't manage the feelings as effectively. They feel more intense.
Exactly right. Negative emotions can feel much stronger, much harder to shift when you're overtired.
And what about circadian rhythms, our internal body clock. They mentioned that too.
Yeah, super important. Our bodies thrive on routine. When that internal clock gets thrown off, maybe through late nights, shift work, jet lag, even just really irregular sleep time.
Everything gets out of whack.
Pretty much your hormonal cycles, your energy levels, your sleep drive, it all gets disrupted. And that misalignment can definitely impact your mood, especially during that wind down period at night.
It really drives home that sleep isn't just, physical rest. It's crucial for mental balance too. Have you noticed that link yourself? Bad sleep night equals tougher evening next day.
Oh, absolutely. It's a very direct correlation for me, and I think for many people.
Which brings us circling back, I suppose, to technology again. Social media, screens, they affect sleep and mood.
Yeah, that double-edged sword Mike and Emma talked about, connection versus comparison.
Right. You feel vulnerable at night, you scroll, you see idealized lives. Boom, feelings of inadequacy.
It's so easy to fall into that trap. And it's not just comparison, is it? It's also what you're consuming.
The doom scrolling.
Yeah.
Getting sucked into bad news or just endless negative stuff online.
Yeah, and our brains have this negativity bias, right? We're kind of wired to pay more attention to threats and bad news.
So if you're already feeling a bit down, scrolling through negativity just reinforces it, makes it harder to climb out.
Exactly. It can create this really negative feedback loop, plus the practical side, the blue light.
Right. From phones, tablets, computers,
Yeah.
messing with melatonin production.
Melatonin is the hormone that basically tells your body, hey, it's nighttime, time to sleep. Blue light suppresses that signal.
So screens make it harder to fall asleep, leading to poor sleep, which then worsens your mood the next evening. It's all connected.
It really is. Which makes the advice, limit screen time before bed actually really important.
Yeah, creating that buffer zone.
Yeah.
An hour or so screen-free before trying to sleep seems simple, but maybe powerful.
It can make a genuine difference, for sure.
Now, Mike and Emma also shared a bit about their own experiences, didn't they, to sort of normalize this?
They did. Emma mentioned anxiety during college, lying awake worrying about studies, the future.
Been there.
And Mike talked about a time when he'd just overanalyze everything from the day. Couldn't switch his brain off at night.
And hearing that stuff, it helps, doesn't it? Knowing it's not just you. If you're listening, and this resonates, you are so not alone in this. It's super common.
Absolutely. Which brings us to the practical bit. What can we actually do about it? They offered some good strategies.
Okay, yeah, like having a solid bedtime routine.
Yes. Consistency is key. Things that signal wind down time to your brain, like reading a real book, not on a screen.
Or maybe some gentle mindfulness, meditation,
Yeah.
listening to calming music, a warm bath.
All good examples. Creating predictable, relaxing rituals before bed.
And Emma mentioned journaling, which I find helpful too. Getting the thoughts out of your head and onto paper.
It's like a mental declutter, isn't
Yeah.
it? Processing those worries so they're not just swirling around when you turn the lights off.
Totally. A brain dump. And Mike suggested gratitude.
Yeah, practicing gratitude. Actively focusing on things you're thankful for, even small things.
Shifting the focus away from the negative stuff.
Exactly. It can really help change your perspective, even just for a little while.
Okay, so routine, journaling, gratitude. Limiting screen time, obviously. Finding relaxing alternatives instead.
Right. Like gentle stretching, maybe listening to a podcast. Not this one if it's stressing you out, but something calming.
Good point. And what about the loneliness aspect?
If that's a big factor, maybe being intentional about connecting with someone earlier in the evening.
Like a phone call or spending time with family or even just, quality time with a pet.
Yeah, anything to sort of combat that feeling of isolation before it really settles in at night.
Okay, these are all really good practical things, but when does this cross the line? When is it more than just a bad night or two? Mike and Emma touched on seeking help.
Yeah, and that's crucial. Occasional nighttime sadness is one thing, but if it's persistent, really intense.
If it's seriously impacting your sleep night after night, or your relationships, or just your ability to... And they specifically mentioned any thoughts of self-harm. That's an immediate signal to get help. Great.
Absolutely critical. Zero hesitation. Reaching out to a therapist, a counselor, your doctor. It's not weakness. It's strength. It's self-awareness.
They have the tools and strategies to help you navigate this. You really don't have to go through it alone.
Not at all. And the final point they really stress, which I think is so important, is self-compassion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Being kind to yourself about it.
Exactly. Treating yourself like you'd treat a friend who is struggling. Not beating yourself up for feeling low.
It's okay to have bad nights.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're failing.
Right. Acknowledge the feeling without judgment. Okay, I'm feeling sad tonight. That's tough. Rather than, ugh, why am I like this?
Giving yourself permission to just rest,
Mm.
to feel what you feel without needing to instantly fix it. Be gentle.
Take it one step at a time. Be patient with yourself. That kindness can make a huge difference in how you cope with those tougher evenings.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive,
Hmm.
what's the big picture? Nighttime sadness, feeling low in the evening, it's common, it's understandable.
Yeah, and it stems from this mix of psychological factors like fewer distractions, more overthinking,
Biological shifts, serotonin, energy
and
levels.
lifestyle factors, sleep habits, technology use.
But the main takeaway, you're not alone if you feel this way.
Not at all. And there are concrete, actionable things you can do.
So we really encourage you, if this resonates, try one or two of those strategies. Maybe the bedtime routine, maybe journaling.
Start small, see what feels right for you, be patient.
And remember, your feelings are valid. It's okay to not be okay sometimes.
Definitely. It's about responding with kindness, both in action and towards yourself.
So here's a thought to leave you with. Knowing a bit more about the why behind these nighttime mood shifts now, what's one small intentional change you could make to your evening routine, starting maybe even this week, to help create a slightly gentler transition into the night? Something to think about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Yeah, thank you. Take care, be kind to yourselves, and remember you're probably doing better than you think you are.